The Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Isib, for the past few days has been trying to explain why we need $25 million for the national teams. And to him, the money is not for the Black Stars alone. But the question is whether he has been able to justify why we need such an amount for our national teams. We tabled this for a discussion on this week's episode of the Ghana World Fridays debate. We also talk about the semi-finals results of the UEFA Champions League. It's going to be an all-English affair. Manchester City will take on Chelsea on 29th of May this year in Istanbul, Turkey. I am Joel Leshen. We'll go for a quick break. When we return, the analysis and the discussion starts. Okay, so the sports minister for the past week has been speaking on the 25 million budget. Initially, it was that it was purposely for the Black Stars AFCON and the FIFA World Cup campaigns. Now, the minister has been saying that the money is for the entire national team. But today, on the Friday's debate, the question is that has he been able to justify why we need such an amount for the national teams? I'll start with you, OJ.
Joe, thank you for having me, and then greetings to everyone listening or watching. First off, I need to start with these questions. The minister, together with the president, made some statements, and then they were like, AFCON and then World Cup. The World Cup, they specified the year, 2022. 2022. That is when the World Cup was. But then later he came and then the minister was like, it was not only for Black Stars, but then other purposes. Now let me ask, what other competition will be played in 2022? You see, sometimes they take us for granted, and then like they expect us to just take things lightly, just like that. I don't know why you be on national television, on radio, and then other media, and then you'll be telling these lies. When it was an interview with, I think, Umar Osanda on a star station, he was saying some audits will be going on about air tickets owned in Egypt, blah 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 blah. But to date, he has not given when the order to start. You see, Joe, these things are issues that when football loving fans take these things to heart, it might cause problems one day. We will be in this country, and then one day people will just get on the streets demonstrating and doing all sorts of nasty things, and then you come back and then be like, people do not with their heads and all that. These issues are worrying.
Okay, so let me move to the Crusader himself. What's your opinion on this entire discussion? 25 million, the president said for the Black Stars. Now the minister has been explaining that it is for the entire national teams.
So for me, I think I don't think he has been able to justify the money for all the national teams. I mean, when he spoke to CCTV with Umar Sanda, he made mention of the fact that the money was not just for the Black Stars, as earlier stated by the president himself, but that it was meant to be shared among all the national teams and for their qualifiers between now and 2022. But then, if you look at what he said, if really that was the case, I'm sure he could have given all Ghanaians a better understanding of how the issue should have been. But if you listen to him, the only subject that he touched on was that of the Black Stars. And again, he mentioned that qualifiers and then friendly matches that will be played in the lead up to the AFCON and then the World Cup, each match would cost $700,000. Can you imagine that? So that what I'm saying is, if he wanted to be fair to Ghanaians, it would have been better for him, since we've quoted the prize money that would be needed for friendly matches for the Black Stars. You could have done same for the under 17, for the women's teams, and all the other national teams that you are telling us that we should believe the money is meant for. He didn't do that. So on my part, I cannot take that seriously, especially when the first gentleman of the land has already given us a figure and what that figure is meant for. So for me, like Benjamin said before his line went off, I think they are not being truthful to us. Even if they are being truthful, I think these are half truths. There's a lot more they need to do to convince the public. This is because the reputation of the Black Stars has suffered in recent years. Since the 2014 World Cup, the team has not been the same. People have lost interest in the team, and this is a team that you want to build up the love that the country used to have for them. In doing that, transparency is very, very key. If you can't be transparent to the people, I'm sorry, then you are not getting their support.
Okay, so is there a way that we could use this money that will satisfy a majority of Ghanaians instead of spending the entire money on the Black Stars?
I think Ghanaians are frustrated. That is one thing you need to note. People are frustrated because they know the economic situation of the country. Things are not going well. And so sometimes I'm careful with this subject because normally when people are frustrated, they tend to vent their anger on even things that do not really concern what really caused their anger. So I get where most Ghanaians are coming from because they see it from a perspective that, okay, I'm paying my taxes, I'm working, my salary has not been increased in the last 3-4 years, and then this kind of money is going to the Black Stars who are already rich people. So as an ordinary citizen, definitely you are bound to feel a bit of jealousy and other things like that. That's what I feel most people are coming from. But then the case is that I've never had a problem with the Black Stars being paid what is due, because I believe the football industry is an industry that rakes in a lot of money. And any industry that rakes in a lot of money, the employees deserve to be paid very, very well. So let me make that clear that I've never been against the kind of money that the Black Stars take from the national team. However, my problem is just throwing the money at them, because we've done this for years and it hasn't worked. If this strategy was something that worked, we should have won the AFCON 2-3 times by now. But clearly, throwing money at the Black Stars hasn't worked in the last decade and 2 decades and even 3 to 4 decades now. So why do we continue doing the same thing over and over again if it is not working? And that is the question that the minister and government have to answer. Because we've seen the results of throwing money at the Black Stars over the years. In 2014, everything came to a standstill. We saw the chaos that it created. And the minister tried to explain this by saying that they didn't want to repeat what happened in 2014. So they are trying to gather the money earlier so that they will know that, okay, this is the money we are allocating for paying maybe salaries, for paying hotel bills, for doing this and that, so that by the time we go to the 2022 AFCON, and if we qualify for the World Cup as well, we wouldn't have problem with money. But then the thing is it all about money? Because if you're not putting structures in place to ensure that the team will qualify, and your focus is all about throwing money at them, like I said, time and time again, it has proven that throwing money at the Black Stars hasn't won us anything. So why do we keep repeating the same mistakes?
Okay, so let me come to you, OJ. There's also been some discussion that the minister is being misled by the leadership of the Ghana Football Association, because people don't understand why the GFA will sign a contract with MTN for the FA Cup competition, $700,000 for 3 months, but the same FA will speak to the minister that the Black Stars need $700,000 to play a single game. Is the minister being misled, or he understands the issues and he still wants to do what he is doing?
Joe, I wouldn't say the minister being misled. No. You see, FA Cup is different from what we are discussing right now. We are talking about the $25,000, right? Yes, and then that is different from the FA. You see, the FA is trying all their best to bring back the love, and then this is the case. You come and tell us, you come and tell us this, and then the following day you also come and tell us a different thing. You see, it's about time they know how to communicate with Ghanaians. Ghanaians are already angry. We went to AFCON I think the last edition, and then you got knocked out in a round of 16, and then instead of you doing proper PR, you then come and then you are doing this. I think Joe, there's nothing like they have been misled. No, I do not think so.
Okay, what do we need to do as Ghanaians to stop this from happening? Because the president in the past few days have been meeting the corporate institutions that they want them to raise the $50 million to add up to the 10 million the government is going to donate for the project, win the AFCON and get to the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup. Do we need another hashtag to stop this? Okay.
I think that the football industry needs the money. Let nobody kid you that like the 55 million is not necessary. I think it's very, very necessary. But I think where we channel the money into, it's where the most critical aspect is. So I don't feel that kind of money should all go to the Black Stars, because I think there are
exactly
a lot of,
my point.
So
exactly.
Nobody's against raising $25 million for Ghana football. I think it's in the right direction. If corporate Ghana wants to support Ghana football with $25 million, I think it's something great that everybody would support. But to channel that kind of money to just the Black Stars, I think it's too exorbitant, and I don't think it makes sense for a country that is struggling, and a country, not just the country, the sports football itself is struggling. I mean, everybody understands, everybody knows. Unless you don't want to be fair to yourself. The sports football, the level of our football has dropped. We are not at the quality level that we used to be in previous years. So if we really want to develop the sport and take it to the level that it used to be, then it means we need to start investing in a lot of things. This money could be invested judiciously into all the national teams, all right, like just like the minister later clarified. But to put that kind of money into the Black Stars, especially for a tournament, and I am particular about when it comes to making budgets. I doubt that if we are running a company by our fathers, we will make a budget that will exceed the number of employees we have and the amount we need to pay to them. So, I think that is where it falls short a bit, because...
Okay, so with this very point that you are raising, I remember the interview the minister had on Kokoko with Chairman General. He was asked that does it make economic sense to spend more than the amount that you get if you win the trophy? And the minister in his explanation said that if the Black Stars win the trophy, the joy that comes with the trophy cannot be quantified. So we cannot bring economics.
Once again, we are you see, once again, we are looking to cut corners. But you see, football doesn't work that way. If it's looking at the shortcut, it's like you have two ways. You can use the right part to a place, you can use the wrong part. So it's gambling. This is pure gambling. But we've gambled for the past almost 4 decades, and those gambles have worked. So do we continue to use the same gamble that we've gambled and lost? Do we use the same route? We can't do that. For how long do we continue to place winning the AFCON on gamble? Like what you said, it's like you placing a bet or something. It's in terms. It's not something that is certain that when you throw $25 million into the Black Stars and they win an AFCON, then it's true, everybody will be happy. But what if you don't win? If you don't win, it means it brings you straight back to what happened after the last AFCON, where the sports minister went to parliament. He couldn't even defend himself. He gave he gave an account of part of the money. He was asked, where are the rest of the money? What did he use the rest of it? He said he will come back and explain. To date, he hasn't come back to explain. And he's out of office. So who explains?
And at the end of the day, it came out that we are owing the embassy in Egypt.
Forget the embassy matter is even different. I'm looking at the budget that we had for the last AFCON. The minister was in parliament. He was supposed to answer for the budget. I think he accounted for just $6-something million of the budget. The rest, he didn't account for them. And he told the parliament house that he will come back again to come and explain. To date, he hasn't done that. And we are going to another AFCON next year. So where is the accountability? And you want us to, and I'm saying we've practiced this kind of gamble for a very long time, close to 4 decades. We haven't won the AFCON. If it was about money, I mean, we pay our players better than most of the African countries, but we haven't won it in 4 decades. So do we continue doing the same thing over and over again when it has proven that it doesn't work? And that is where I think I don't want to even believe the minister said that. But if he indeed said that, then I'm really disappointed in him.
All right, so you're still watching the Friday's debate here on Ghana Web TV. You've heard the submissions from Emmanuel and then Bra OJ. But the Crusader couldn't add its own because of network issue. We'll go for a quick break. When we return, we'll talk about the UEFA Champions League semi-finals results. It's an all-English affair in Istanbul for the Champions League final. Man City will take on Chelsea. We'll be right back after this break.
From the dawn of time, people have engaged in several businesses. With the onset of technology and innovation, life has relatively been made easier. By using debit or credit cards,
mobile banking.
Thank you. And your favorite, mobile money?
tech has indeed married business. On BizTech, we spend time with faces behind known and upcoming businesses in the country.
Learn more about the new technologies and innovation,
as well as find out about the trending issues in the world of business.
Join us as we serve you with a variety of compelling interviews, projects and others right here on Ghana Web TV.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching the Friday's debate here on Ghana Web TV. This week we are asking if the sports minister, Mustafa Yusuf, has been able to justify why we need $25 million for the national teams. We started the discussion with Bra OJ, Emmanuel Ayamga, and the Crusader all the way from Ezra FM in Kumasi. Now let's hear what he had to say. Crusader, your initial reaction and your take on this issue.
Well, Joel, I think that someone is not telling us the truth to start with in terms of this money that we are pumping into our Black Stars. You see, at the initial stages, we all heard what the president said. He was clear that it's for the AFCON because we've not won the AFCON in the last, 40 years. Because next year it's going to be 40 years.
Yeah.
The last time we won was in 82. So 2022 will be 40 years. So we've not won for 40 years, and that it's time for us to win. And you also said we have to go to the World Cup and then reach the semi-finals. And Ghana has got the quality to reach that semi-final stage. And as to who is telling him that we have that quality, I don't know, seriously. Because when you check our team, I don't think, even if you are talking about top 5, 6, 7 teams in Africa, looking at the current state of our Black Stars, we don't have the quality to beat certain teams. If we should go to the World Cup right now, teams like Albania, Israel, we will struggle to beat them. Not to think of going to the semi-finals.
We will beat Israel like 11-0. Israel, Albania. The best one will be 20.
You see, you can disagree, but that's the fact. When you look at the kind of squad that we have, you can go through the squad that Ghana has and you see that we don't have the quality to face the rest of the world, like the Germany, the England, the Spain, the French. Even in Africa, when you are looking at Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, you look at countries like Algeria and the likes, even Mali. Look at now their players, how they are performing, and check the Ghanaian players.
We've been struggling to beat Mali.
We will struggle. We will struggle to beat Mali. Because even Sudan, we struggle to beat Sudan. So that is the state of our Black Stars. And if we have such money, why don't we channel our energies into, building for the future? Sometimes our leaders, they think that winning a tournament is like an event, but going to a tournament to win, it's a process. You must start from somewhere. You must start to rebuild. It's not like we are having some music award show, so I've got this nice guitar, let me wear and go. No. You must start planning from somewhere. You build your team. Others have done it. And there's no shortcut to success. That is what they need to understand. You see, Germany, after Euro 2000, they saw that no. An era has ended and that they needed to rebuild. They started rebuilding. And even at the German 2006, they brought some experience with this. Things didn't work out for them. They went back, started their rebuilding again, and they gave themselves up to 2018. God being so good, 2014, their project matured, and they won the World Cup in 2014 in Brazil. England did same. 2012, they built the St. George's Academy, the St. George's Park that they are using, where their national teams have been camping now. They started rebuilding from the youth. Now they won the FIFA Under-17 World Cup. They've won the FIFA Under-20. Their women's team are also performing. Look at what they did at the
2018 World Cup.
2018 World Cup. It's been a long time since we saw England go to any major tournament to perform. Yes, 2018 World Cup, they got to the semi-final. Since 1990, they've not reached the semi-final of any tournament. But because of proper planning, now they were there. They are thinking of Agenda 2022. And when you look at the players that England has, now you can see they have a lot of talents in abundance. That is what we are talking about. You look at countries like Nigeria. I can mention about 5-6 Nigerian strikers who are performing at the highest level and compare that to Ghana. But you see, Ghana, all we think about is always money, 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 money. Since we started, putting money into our Black Stars, anytime we go to competitions, what have you won? We've gone to competitions where after the tournament, our players will be richer than even the actual winners of that competition. And we come back, we come and we are always fighting. That is the problem. We must stop monetizing our Black Stars. Let the players understand that this is a national cause that we are going to fight for. And we must start to rebuild. You look at Algeria. Algeria have identified that no, we need to, produce talents if we want to sustain the success that we had in 2019. So now they've built 4 academies. They zoned the country into 4: the northern sector, the southern sector, the western, and the eastern. And they built 4 academies just to train players for their national teams. So within a short period of time, you start seeing Algerian players spread across the rest of Europe. And this is not by magic. It's about planning. We have a facility like the Winnipeg Sports College there. That was built to train professionals. Sportsmen and women in this country. What is the state of that facility? You go to Pram Pram, the GFA has their own facility there. What is the state? The last time we went there with the under-20 and under 17. They came back to tell us that, because of mosquitoes, the players had malaria and that we couldn't qualify for a tournament, all because of mosquitoes. It tells we are not serious in this country. If we are serious as a people, we will come back, we will start from the basics. It's not about investing, 25 million into a qualifier or just going for, we are going to win the AFCON. If we win the AFCON, what happens next? What is the next plan?
The
for the future.
The entire country will be happy. The entire country will be happy.
After that, what?
We keep the trophy.
Joel, you see, that is not even going to happen. We are not going to win. It will take a super miracle unless we are going to buy Mbappe, Neymar, Messi with that money. Yes, because
but the amount that you are mentioning, it cannot even pay Neymar. The $25 million, it can't pay Neymar.
So that is the only way. If we are thinking that we can use that to buy players, that one fine. But you see, after winning the AFCON, what next? There are things that we must start doing if we want to sustain success.
Okay.
I'm talking about sustaining success. Let's build from the basics. Let's get the fundamentals right by investing in our grassroots. Ben Kofi had a 5-year development plan. At the initial stages, under 17, under 20, we didn't perform. But these same players who went through that 5-year development plan, they qualified us to our first World Cup. You talk of the under 21 team that played against Argentina in the finals of the under 20 youth championship. Yeah. The Michael Essien, the John Mensah, you can talk of the John Peso, and those boys, the watching, those boys, they qualified us in 2006. So what it means is that if we invest brightly in our youth and build from the basics, we are going to get the results in the long term. We also what our under 20 2009 after winning the tournament when they progressed to our national team. We also what we did in 2010.
All right, so
it's time for us to come back to the basics.
Let's come back to the basics and invest in the grassroots football. As Dr. Kofi Amwa, former chairman for the normalization committee, said that if we do proper investment in grassroots football, we can win the World Cup in the long run. Now, let's talk about the UEFA Champions League semi-final games. I'll give that one to you. Then we end the show. Your closing remarks will be the Champions League semi-final. Now, it's an all-English affair. Were you surprised with any of the results on Tuesday and yesterday?
For me, I wasn't really surprised, especially when you look at the way the first leg encounters went. Chelsea impressively went to Real Madrid and then had a 1-1 draw. Real Madrid were even fortunate in that game to even get a draw. And yesterday, Chelsea could have scored 5, they could have scored 6, they could have scored 7 if they had taken their chance. So, really, I wasn't really surprised at all. I think Chelsea had deserved Champions League finalists, same as Manchester City, who over 2 legs, they betted PSG. PSG didn't show up in the 2 legs. I was really rooting for them to make it to the final because I think it's high time we had a new winner. But Manchester City showed that their consistency in the course of the season was no fluke. And then, although they haven't really made it past the semi-final yet under Pep, but the moment they got there, they really showed that they wanted it more, and close to them for getting to the final.
Okay, let me come to you, OJ. Before the game started yesterday, I saw you posting a lot, but after 9 p.m., it seems you went to bed early. What happened?
So all my posts were posts of encouragement. You see, I just wanted to encourage myself and then my fellow Madridistas because I knew where the team was going. Let me tell you, right from the onset, this season, if you tell the truth, Real Madrid didn't deserve to play in the semi-final.
Yes, but you didn't deserve. But by yesterday, you were the one saying that this is Real Madrid, this is Champions League. So why are you changing your argument now?
I'm not changing my argument. As I told you, I said earlier that I posted those because I was encouraging myself and then my fellow Madridistas. You see, it will be too sad for Chelsea to eliminate Real Madrid at this stage, especially at the semi-finals. In terms of Champions League, you see, when I talk about Champions League, it is history, character, and then pedigree. I mean, Real Madrid has all this. Then, like comparing them to Chelsea, like obviously we would have picked Real Madrid, but then the first leg encounter showed everything that Real Madrid were not going to qualify. As Ima said, we are very fortunate to even have a draw. Yes. Chelsea should have killed that game. Kudos to Movena, who kept Real Madrid alive into the second leg. So, as I was saying, Real Madrid didn't deserve to win the semi-final. At the point in time, we were heading towards Europa. It took Benzema to score a brace against Mönchengladbach, which qualified us to the group to the honor. Yeah, so I think Chelsea deserved the win. And then looking at City, Pep is doing very well, especially with what he's doing. Pep has a good striker, but then he wouldn't use a good striker because I think he has good midfielders who can shoot from all angles, and then that is exactly what they're doing. So it will be interesting. And then we are also fortunate to witness a final before a final that is coming this weekend. The Premier League, we had a chance to watch Chelsea and then City again before the final. So it will be an interesting encounter. And then I'm also looking forward to seeing an all-English final in the Europa League.
Oh.
So I'm also looking for Arsenal to eliminate Villarreal.
Emba, so and Arsenal will go out. Let me end with you, Crusader. Now,
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I know that if the game had gone the other way, this morning you would have been saying, this is Real Madrid, this is Champions League.
But Joe, it has always been like that. This is Real Madrid and this is the Champions League. And I'm not sure many people would have, given Chelsea that chance coming up against Real Madrid, especially in the semi-finals of an UEFA Champions League competition. But you see, I disagree with my brother OJ when he says Real Madrid don't deserve to be in the semi-final, because you see, this tournament started and in the group stages anything can happen. That is what makes the competition special. The proper competition is not played at the group stage. it is played at the from the knockout stages. That is where the
Round of 16.
competition starts because
you would have to play well
you see
stages before you qualify to the round of 16.
yes, but
A
of
team,
course
a team like Bayern Munich played very well, but then didn't play in the semi-final. So, if I say
of course I agree with you perfectly well. You need to start well, but it's in the end, it's the end that justifies the means. How you qualify, that is the most important thing. And if they didn't deserve to be here, I'm not sure they would have been here because there are a lot of teams that played well.
Also justified everything because we couldn't qualify from the semi-finals because we were not good enough to be.
Yes, it's about 32 teams that started this competition. I'm not even talking about the prelims. From the group stage, it's 32 teams. And for any team to have reached this stage, it means the team was special. And you see, Madrid beat teams in the knockout stages. In the knockout stages, it was, home and away beating of Atalanta, then Liverpool. Liverpool are also serious when it comes to this competition. So it tells you how well they've performed in this. And look at the big games that they played. The big games that Madrid have played this season. You can check the results against Barcelona, against Atletico Madrid, against Sevilla, against Inter Milan. It has always been the smaller clubs that shock Real Madrid. But away from there, let's talk about yesterday's game. And yesterday, I think that Zidane played the game into the hands of Chelsea. That's exactly what he did. Because for a player like Eden Hazard, he had no business starting the game. And even he had no business, staying on for that long. He should have, substituted him. He shouldn't have even come back from the first half. Because all along, you could see Hazard was not himself. He was just wasting time on the ball and all those things. Vinicius Junior, who was just placed at the right side, and he was doing too many defensive works, which was not helping the team. Where he played Mendy, I don't know what he was thinking. Mendy played too high up the pitch, doing little or no defensive duties. And if you wanted someone to attack, I'm not sure you would have gone for Mendy, because Mendy, we know him for his defensive stability. But he decided to play him high up the pitch. I don't know what he was doing. So it was all about Zidane. And in the midfield, you could see he withdrew Casemiro to just come and join the defense. And players like Kroos and Modric, they don't have the legs to match the speed of the Chelsea midfielders. And it was evident. The only player who could match them was Casemiro. And he didn't play him in the middle. He was doing more of as a centre back. He needed a player like Valverde to start with. For me, if he had gone with Valverde, Casemiro, Toni Kroos, and then Modric in the midfield, they would have, be able to crowd the Chelsea midfield. But Zinedine Zidane, he just played the game into the hands of Chelsea. And kudos to Thomas Tuchel. He's been able to find the right balance in terms of his team. And look at the way they are playing. In crucial moments like this, you have Kai Havertz, who was almost dead under Frank Lampard. The same thing applies to Timo Werner. They are performing, absolutely well. So kudos to them. They are doing, a marvelous job.
Okay, so
and I think that Chelsea deserve to win this competition.
All right, and before I go, before I go, I have a simple message for you. Someone says I should tell you guys, say Ronaldo kwa bobo ni bianca ebeshem. And he stopped.
Of course, it's true. Ronaldo,
I think Benjamin is just all that is he has spoken a lot. I think the summary of what he's saying is that Chelsea were better than they were not just better, they were head over heels better than Real Madrid.
Yes, it's true.
That is the point. That is the point.
It doesn't matter. I don't know why he doesn't want to admit that Madrid have just not been good this season. They've been a bit like Madrid haven't lost in a while. They haven't lost in about, I think, almost
19 games.
It's a fluke.
But it's not a fluke, but they've been.
You cannot continue to always be
lucky. And I said they've been lucky because in the group stage Madrid were so poor, and it took the last two games of the group for them to qualify.
And that is where it mattered
to depend. They needed to depend on other results.
No, you see,
they needed to depend.
Were so good from the start. Where are they now?
No,
Europa League.
But I'm saying that if you look at the Inter Milan team, the Inter Milan team that has won, the Inter Milan team that has won when they say Inter Milan has improved. If you look at Inter Milan right now, Inter Milan is better than Inter Milan. They are not. But they were
Of course, they beat them moment away. Madrid are on the verge of winning the
so
La
it depends
Liga.
on how you improve. Madrid has not improved. Madrid in the last 4 games, they've drawn before yesterday's game. They have drawn 3 of their last 4. They weren't winning. They were
checked the number of injuries that
sorry,
has
so how do you expect a team against a team like Chelsea who have improved from the beginning of January since Tuchel joined up to now? I mean, I don't know where you want this to end, but then Chelsea were better, and this is one of them. This is a timely reminder that Real Madrid are not as good as they used to be previously. And even they are even lucky to win in the La Liga race. And I agree. The La Liga race is between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid are. When you see them win the Champions.
Okay, so guys, this is where we have to wrap up the entire show. I know that Madrid will bounce back come next year. Let's see if United can also wrap up their qualification in Rome. But for Arsenal, we are all praying that Villarreal will do the magic at the Emirates Sports Stadium. That's how we end this episode of the Friday's Debate here on Ghana Web TV. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel after watching the video. Follow us on Twitter at the Ghana Web Sports for more sports updates. I am Joel Leshen. Till we meet again, it's bye for now.